Let's go ahead and get into the mailbag.
Mailbag.
I just noticed the volume was a little down on that. Did you catch that?
Do I need to do it again?
I think we do it again.
Mailbag.
Oh, you meant the drop volume was.
Yeah.
Dude, do we need to do it again?
Hey, that brings me to something I wanted to mention on the show.
I feel like I sounded like Miss Piggy just there.
That was that's exactly what it was. Kermit! Oh, I have to mention this because we couldn't really read the review on the show yesterday for the Reviewosaurus Rex because it was just too darn long. But now seems like a good time to mention it when you scream mailbag at the top of your lungs. Which, by the way, the other day, what a music major gave you credit for being on pitch. So.
Yeah, you're darn tootin'.
Yeah, well, you're a music
guy.
My
pitch is immaculate.
Yeah, immaculate pitch. That's
what they called me in the streets.
But the review came in on iTunes, and it was basically that we saved somebody's marriage because they have this deal where when they do a cross-country trip, whoever's driving gets to listen to whatever they want. And so the guy was driving. This review came in from the wife, and the husband was driving for 4 hours, and he said, "I'm listening to fantasy football podcasts." And so she assumed their marriage was going to end. And turns out she got kind of into it. She really liked the drops and mailbag and liked the singing and said that she enjoyed it. And
thank you very much.
And it saved the marriage.
You are welcome. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, we're just healing the world. All right, Charles in Boston. Mailbag question. Who would you rather have rest of the season, Chris Ivory or Charcandrick West? Come on.
No. It's Ivory. Yeah, but it's at least interesting and I think worth talking about. I think Charcandrick West, let's look at the schedule for Charcandrick West. And like I've been telling people, I have Chris Ivory concerned if Ryan Fitzpatrick has to go out for an extended period of time.
Too soon to tell.
And we don't know that. But if Geno Smith is leading the Jets offense, I can't imagine that defenses will have to be as worried about the pass as they are with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So, are you pulling up a schedule right now?
Yeah, Charcandrick West actually has a phenomenal schedule for the rest of the season.
It's not close yet, guys.
No. It's not close. It's Chris Ivory by a mile to me. I would not want to trust Charcandrick West, but he does have a good schedule.
I would love to have both, but I'll go with Ivory.
Yeah. Bilal Powell will come back. He will be taking over some third downs, so that could hurt Ivory as well. He'll be back maybe next week. So Ivory for now. West is still a good start. Steven in Martinsburg. Where's Martinsburg?
I don't know.
You want to take a guess? I'm going to guess Massachusetts.
That's a great guess.
I'm going Maine.
Got a 1 in 50 shot. Somebody's got to look at that.
The question.
Is Jameis Winston worth a streaming start against the Giants this week? His other quarterback is Matt Ryan.
I know the answer. It's West Virginia.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You were way off.
Yeah, I was way off.
Jameis Winston has been playing better. Quietly, if you're not paying attention to what's going on in Tampa Bay. But we had just looked at this, and since his game a few weeks ago where he had the 4 picks, he's been playing a lot better, not turning the ball over, getting it done.
Yeah, it's three games in a row, 0 interceptions. He's been throwing
which for Jameis Winston is a big deal.
It's huge. But he doesn't have the best of matchups.
Colin Kaepernick has no picks in 4 games either.
Well,
just saying.
He's not going to have any more picks moving forward, Andy.
I'm not streaming Winston over Matt Ryan against San Francisco.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Charles in Boston. That's the one we just read. Super duper. All right. Michael in Boston. Should I start Lamar Miller or Latavius Murray this week? The Dolphins face the Bills and the Raiders go into Pittsburgh. They're both road games. Who would you start if you had to choose between those? That is a close one for me.
It's really, really close.
Standard league.
I think both guys are going to be decent, but I would lean Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray has been doing it week in, week out this year. I know he had those 2 benchings for fumbles, but even during those games, he was performing well, and he's done it against good matchups. You look at this last week, he had a tough matchup, and he ran right through it. So I would go Latavius Murray.
Yeah, it's
Murray runs through it.
Ooh.
Was that like a river runs through it joke?
Just move on.
That was
Just move
that
on.
was a stretch.
Yeah.
Very close for me, but I'll lean Latavius Murray as well.
What do you guys think about Murray rest of the season? If the same question between Miller and Murray rest of the season, do you have a guy that you prefer? Is it still Murray? Same answer.
It's probably Murray, man. I'm jumping in. Me and the Raiders, we are best friends now.
All right.
Yeah, Lamar Miller is a guy I see with a higher upside but a lower floor. So you're going to have a little bit more volatility from Miller going forward if you need the big games. I kind of lean Lamar Miller here just because when you get in the playoffs, you need those big weeks. Latavius I see as really solid, like a great number 2.
Yeah. Ricky in Cleveland wants to know which 2 running backs does he start this week from this McCluster of running backs.
PPR. This is PPR.
Yeah, PPR league. Alfred Blue, Theo Riddick, TJ Yeldon, McCluster, as I said, and Gio Bernard.
Yeldon is probably in automatically.
He's
for
locked
me.
and loaded for me too.
Yeldon's been very solid, and he's getting better.
I take Bernard.
And I would take Bernard with the PPR. The question is, it's a Thursday night game against the Browns. That sounds very much like a hill of a game.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey,
All hill will break loose.
So that means Gio Bernard is going to get about 30 points.
Right.
So go with Gio Bernard.
Yeah, and while I love theoretically in a PPR, I don't love him on a bye week.
Yeah, I wouldn't start bye week, guys. Historically, I looked at the metrics on that. Historically speaking, bye week guys have underwhelmed.
Yeah, they have not put up solid fantasy production.
We had a guy in our league start Austin Ferry and Jenkins last week, injured, and he put up the same amount of points as a bye week guy. So that's kind of what you're looking at for buys.
Get it together, Gabe.
Yeah, shout out. Get it together, Gabe.
Oh, blast.
I stick a fork in him. All right, Trey in Spartanburg, South Carolina. All right, who's got the best rest of season outlook? Randall Cobb, Emmanuel Sanders.
Ooh. I love this question because one of these guys has been far better than the other one coming in, but I believe rest of season it's still going to be Randall Cobb. He is getting over his shoulder injury while Emmanuel Sanders has just entered into his, and I believe that after this Carolina week, I don't like the matchup this week for Randall Cobb, but after that, the schedule gets really good for Cobb. His health looks completely back, and I think he'll return to that wide receiver 1 status that we've been waiting very long for him to get to.
Emmanuel Sanders also has a pretty delightful schedule, just a couple bumps in there with the Patriots game, most notably.
You guys notice that Jason has very rosy outlooks for his current roster?
Well, I've got a very
Lamar Miller,
but
Randall Cobb.
I agree.
The future's bright for Jason.
I think better days are coming for Randall Cobb.
I do too.
And I'll take the superstar quarterback who's in the prime of his career.
Yeah, I agree. You could focus on the recent game and be discouraged by it, but I wouldn't. I would.
Or games if you're the Randall Cobb owner.
Right, right. But I mean more specifically
for Rodgers.
I mean they played each other last game, and obviously the Packers didn't fare well. So, Nick in St. Louis, should I start Brandon LaFell or Tavon Austin in the flex this week? Other 2 receivers are AJ Green and Emmanuel Sanders.
PPR. We just talked about Tavon Austin, where he is getting it done every week, but it's on such limited work.
It's low catch totals.
It's really hard to trust him. If you want to go for it, I'm not going to stop you. Like that's not a move where I think, oh, that's just crazy. You can't do that. But I would still lean LaFell. He was on the field for over 80% of the snaps for New England, who is putting up over 30 points a game. So I'm going to go with Brandon LaFell.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to lean for LaFell.
And we'll make it unanimous. I just like the matchup against the Redskins a little bit better.
All right, Jared in Los Angeles, rest of season question. These are great. Jordan Reed or Tyler Eifert?
Oh, man.
Holy guacamole.
Yeah, that's such a split
You have to say-
I can answer it.
Yeah, I think I know what you're
It's
gonna
going
say.
to have to be Tyler Eifert.
Yeah.
Even though Jordan Reed on a per game win playing basis has been just as good, and actually better than Tyler Eifert, you have to have that caveat, right? You have to say, well, that's if he's out there. I mean, before the season, we were high on Jordan Reed, but we said, how long is it going to be before he gets injured? And it wasn't that long. And so how long is it going to be, over under on Jordan Reed missing another game? Do you expect him to miss another game the rest of the season? Probably just based on history. So I would, if I had to have one of these guys, I'd like either, but I would much rather go Tyler Eifert.
And if you're the gambler,
Right.
and you want to go big, you go with Jordan Reed.
I think I got to just go the Eifert side because even with the gambling side of things, Eifert's so high on the list of tight ends
That's
I
fair.
want that it's, if this was like Jordan Reed or Ebron or something, I'd be like, oh, just,
Jordan Reed
run
or,
with Reed and let it burn down.
Jordan Reed or Barnidge?
It's Barnidge.
Barnidge. But
Barnidge is
the
higher
hard
right
part of
now
this
than
is the
Eifert.
rest of season.
Really? So rest of season, I'm saying rest of season, would you rather have Tyler Eifert or Gary Barnidge?
Gary Barnidge.
Barnidge.
Really?
Workload.
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 I am so late to the train. I guess I just
You got to jump on, man. Go look at what he's doing.
No, I realize what he's been doing because I've been trying to throw cold water and I can't.
Yeah, I
'cause he's
mean,
on
there's
fire.
been maximum Barnidge happening.
Gotta stay in those
Jason.
flames.
I mean, he's a barnyard dog.
See,
I mean, he's the barnacle.
So you're
sucking in
you're telling people right now, you got Tyler Eifert, go trade him for Gary Barnidge.
not necessarily. If
Well,
you can one for one but
Let me ask you this: you got Gary Barnidge. Do you go and trade for Tyler Eifert?
no, you hold on to Barnidge.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying I would rather have Eifert.
Well, here's a follow-up. Barnidge or Gates?
Barnidge just because of the injury, but that's close to me.
All right.
If Keenan Allen misses any period of time, Antonio Gates is gonna as long as he can get back in tune with his MCL, because we know the MCL is
a big part
big
of his
part
game.
of Antonio
We saw
Gates'
that this
game.
last week.
It's a very important part of the knee. Martinez in New Mexico. Is Jordan Matthews still a must-start player?
No, but he's a guy that I don't want to cut. I'd rather have him on my bench.
Jordan Matthews
I've got a name for everybody.
is a startable player, but definitely not a must-start player.
This is the part of the show where my selfish desires in my own leagues get destroyed because obviously we're here for the people. We're here for the Foot Clan.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm signing Nelson Agholor.
That's fair.
And stashing him in some leagues, not because I think it's this week. He's practicing again. Huff has done nothing with the opportunity. Jordan Matthews is struggling. Agholor was a top pick. He's sitting there on your waiver wire in most leagues.
Yeah.
If I had to grab a guy with later season upside potential, I'm taking a chance on Agholor. Maybe it's just me, but he's been he battled the injury, but they need somebody.
If both Matthews and Agholor are on the waiver wire, who would
It's
you grab?
Matthews.
Okay.
It's Matthews. Yeah. All right, Barron in Houston.
Oh.
Are McManus and Gostkowski the only kickers you would keep through the bye weeks? He has Hauschka bye coming up. Doesn't know if he should drop him or not. He is ranked 4th among kickers. Great question. Something we debated at lunch a little bit. I'll let you guys speak to it. I got my own thoughts.
Those are the only two that I think are absolutely – I would keep them and not drop them through a bye. The only other guy that is in that ranking to me, Hauschka wouldn't be there for me. Mike,
Hauschka, I think, is pretty close, but I am a Justin Tucker owner in many formats, and I'm going to do my best to hold on to him.
And that's kind of what I was going to say. They might be the only two guys. They may not. It really depends on your team. I mean, if you're in line for the playoffs, I don't see a reason why you can't stash an extra kicker for a week. That might be faux pas in the beginning of the year when you're waiting for breakouts and you're losing or these things. For me, I've used a lot of my bench spots on playoff prep.
Yeah, we're getting into the point of the season where it's not uncommon to see my roster or Andy's roster holding two defenses.
Yeah.
Because we know a good matchup is coming, and handcuffs become more important if you know it's a solid handcuff, of course, and multiple defenses and weird things like holding onto a kicker on bye. These things come into play now in the season.
The thing that is going to separate listeners of this show from their league mates is going to be 1, 2, 3 of the little things every week. So, and a lot of that is going to come down to the kicker or the defense, unfortunately, just based on the fact that scoring in leagues, is pretty significant for those positions. It's going to come down to handcuffing the back or grabbing the waiver wire ad, and you do 1 or 2, 3 of those things, and you're just putting the odds in your favor week to week. That's the goal. That's why we exist, is we want to put the odds ever in your favor. Yeah, so there you go. Oh, that's funny. It's like I knew the quote, and I didn't even know where it came from. It's just in my head.
I read this on a milk carton once.
Right.
On the
And
cup at Chipotle.
Then I hear that, and I'll be honest with you, my first impulse was, X-Files?
Oh, that's funny.
And I'm like, oh, no, wait, that's,
It's more like that.
yeah, I mean, you might have been octave high or something.
Bob, immaculate pitch. I'll remind you. That's what they call
I
it.
know, so you were probably dead on.
In the alley.